the Reds are through, the Blues are out. Steven Gerrard's talking about physicality in football, which I'm always up for a chat about. But yeah, the big headlines on the back, clash of the Titans. Obviously now it is Liverpool against Manchester City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. This kind of felt like it was always going to happen, didn't it? I mean, you know, the draw was extremely low-key, by the way. You probably didn't see it because you were in the ground.
Everyone was talking about it.
It was just like Fowler, like, sat at a desk going like, yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, but how do you feel about that, first of all? Because, you know, I seen Phil Brundle trying to sell it as, no, I'd rather have them in the semis because you wouldn't want to get through the semis and then face them in the final. And I think his argument was if you beat City in the semis, it's an easier game in the final, even if it's Chelsea.
I wanted Palace, though.
Yeah, no.
We all wanted Palace.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of graft, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to my boys about whether we go and it's Wembley and all this, and you go, I don't say it's only the FA Cup, because I want us to win the FA Cup. I think it'd be an amazing thing. And you can't take anything for granted. We could end up this season with only the League Cup or only the League and FA Cup. And you'd have to say that's a good season, and you couldn't argue otherwise, really. But it's a lot of graft. I get the argument of it being over 2 legs. You say, well, fancy it's over 2 legs. You know, like with the Champions League draw. I'm not seeing the benefit of getting them now. And also, who'd you get in the final? Chelsea. They're graft as well.
I know.
I almost can't be asked of it. I mean, I was made up we didn't get City or Chelsea in our side of the draw in the Champions League. But there's still a reckoning in the final if we go this far.
Yeah, the Liverpool's April looks incredible in terms of big games, and what a month for content that's going to be. But on the Mail,
so does theirs, by the way, City's.
Exactly that. And look, you know, we're not moaning about it, are we? Ultimately, if you get to the business end of a season, this is what it's going to be like. This is what we know it can be like. And if you're trying to win the quadruple, then you've got to beat big teams.
Yeah.
The Mail's little pull out here focuses on Liverpool's game as well yesterday. They've gone with Sinner. Zinkernagel, if that's how you say his name, shanking his shot wide. Great chance. That was 75 minutes, 42 seconds. And then only a couple of minutes later, Jota scored the winner for Liverpool. It was a tight one, wasn't it, Rob? How was it in the ground?
A tight one. It was. We were just saying beforehand, weren't we? It was moody. They were annoying. You know, Klopp talks about the atmosphere, and it was an atmosphere. But it felt like, to me, you go to some grounds, you know, traditional clubs, and like us, they've got their cup of sorts, they've got their Stretford end or the whole end or whatever. But there's a tier below the top, where often they don't have an end, really. And their end seems to be the bit that's nearest the away fans. So they spend half the game just looking at us, pointing at us and singing songs they'd heard on the telly, like Fergie's Right, Your Fans Are Shite, which we sing about to United, about how their manager criticised them. It's not applicable, you idiots. And they're not the first to have done it. I think Shrewsbury did it as well earlier in the season. And then they were singing, "Where's your famous atmosphere?" in their own ground. It's not incumbent upon us to fill your cauldron with noise. Where's your famous atmosphere, right?
I mean, they haven't played this for 23 years, so maybe they just forgot the rules.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, well, they haven't been in the top flight for 20 years, is it?
Yeah, something like that. There was quite a bit of conspiracy bollocks.
So you've written conspiracy bollocks.
Yeah, conspiracy bollocks. So there was conspiracy bollocks in the media. I think 5 Live was certainly up to it. I've seen Andrew Beasley tweeting about that this morning.
Yeah.
But also the Forest manager Steve Cooper said as well. Talked about the 2 big decisions, you know, so Liverpool surviving a VAR check for offside on Jota's goal, and then also the Ryan Yates penalty shout. I haven't seen them back, but it would have been interesting if they'd been up the other end, Steve Cooper said. I thought it was tight. I mean, is this
up the other end from where?
In other words, if it was Liverpool, you know, and this is what they were doing on 5 Live as well, and it was all like, if that was Mo Salah and all this. Mo Salah doesn't get pens, Liverpool don't get VAR decisions. You know, there's not like, this conspiracy bollocks needs to fuck off.
Yeah, and also look, VAR, love it or hate it, the VAR isn't in the grounds, right? He is, I tell you what, I have to say, being fair with them about the atmosphere they created, their crowd went in hard on every decision. To the extent, I'd say, first hour, people I was talking to around me, we were all going, they are getting everything. When we pressed anyone, foul, because their crowd would howl. When they pressed us, play on. That was happening. And you know, I know you wear red tinted goggles when you watch your team or whatever, but it did feel like that. So he's talking shite. Also, why wouldn't he get a penalty where up the nearest damn it their cop end was? Why wouldn't they get a penalty? The other end.
Big clubs, blah blah blah. It's always the same old bollocks.
Fortunately, we have VAR, so that's nonsense.
It also in the Times, and we'll come on to this to talk about this, but why it's there. But they've done a graphic about the most fouls won in the league this season. Zaha is top. Then you've got Tony Brentford, Ayew Palace, McGinn Villa, Gallagher Crystal Palace, Lamptey Brighton, Aarons Norwich, Richarlison Everton, Saka Arsenal, Grealish Man City, Antonio West Ham. No fucking Liverpool player in the whole list.
No. And Mo Salah, the world's best player, the world's most hacked at player, is probably bottom of the top. I think there's Tompkins Times did a piece on Paul Tompkins, just showing even over his whole spell at Liverpool, he doesn't get anything, Mo Salah.
So there's my conspiracy theory.
And Klopp's referenced it as well, so it's Klopp's conspiracy theory as well.
To enjoy this podcast or video, all you need to do is download the Anfield Wrap app. It's available on Google Play or your app store on Apple, and you can get some free tokens which you can use to try some of our content, and that includes match previews and media post-match content, exclusive interviews and loads of transfer chat as well. So join the Anfield Wrap. We're sharing the story of supporting Liverpool from the heart of the city. Up the Reds.